Hello everyone, welcome to Thrifting After Work. My name is David and this channel follows my part-time eBay reselling hobby, and I got a great video for you guys today, kind of taking you through my whole week. We're going to go over some sales, then we're going to go do some thrifting, then we're going to show you the haul, and I think I found the coolest Goodwill spot for anybody to do a thrifting trip to. Stay tuned. Okay, so first I do want to talk about the sales that I had this week. I had a few great items get sold, so I'll go over those real fast. First item is this pair of Hoka Clifton 5s. They sold for $40 plus $9.95 shipping, and I picked these up for $4.99. The next item is this pair of John Fluvog loafers, and if you watch one of my previous videos, I've talked about these shoes. They were sitting around in my eBay store for a while, and literally the day after I made a video about them sitting, they sold. Not for the price I wanted. They sold for $30 plus $12.95 shipping. I paid $14.99, so not the best buy and not the best profit on these shoes, but I am glad to see them gone. Next item was also part of that video. It had been sitting for a little while, and it actually sold to one of my viewers. Thank you so much, Jazz from JNGW. I appreciate everything you guys do and all the support you give to the channel. This was a DC Comics shirt, sold for $12.99, and I offered free shipping on this item. I paid $2.99, so really not a lot of profit there after shipping and fees, but I'm glad this went to a viewer, and again, glad to open up the space in my inventory. Next, I had another t-shirt, which is this vintage Gap shirt. This sold in about 30 minutes. I listed it during my live listing this past week and sold right away, which when an item sells like that, it always makes me think, did I price it wrong? Did I price it just right? Did I hit that magic? Or did I leave money on the table? I'll never know, but I am happy that it sold right away. Just a plain vintage shirt, picked up for $2.99, sold for $19.95 plus $4.99 shipping. Next up, I had this pan, and this was something that I bought when I first started looking at pots and pans, and probably wasn't the best buy. Just a Tefal pan. It's been sitting for a little bit, but it did sold for a good price, $14.95 plus $11.10 shipping. It was just buyer calculated shipping on this item for the weight. And this item I paid $3.99 for when I originally purchased it. Next up, I got two pairs of jeans, and these ones I picked up and listed this past week. First pair is this pair of Affliction jeans. I paid $4.99 for these, and they sold for $32.95 plus $8.99 shipping. And the second pair of jeans is a pair of Rock Revival. I don't find a lot of Rock Revivals, even though they're really, really good jeans. And when I do find them, they're usually above $20, even in the thrift store. These ones were just below that at $17.99, but I felt like I could make a good profit, and I did. $59 sale plus $8.95 shipping. Now, full disclosure on these last two items, I did just do flat rate shipping on them, and technically I lost money on the shipping because the actual shipping cost was just about $1 more for each of these pants. But with my shipping, I go for a net zero on my shipping, so I might lose $1 on these ones, but I'll make $1 on a different item. Now let's talk totals for all these sales and break down from the gross profit all the way down to what I'm really making on these items. So gross profit on these items was $267.78. That's how much I made for all of the sales plus the ship. Now to get my net profit, I got to take out all the expenses. So the first expense is the cost of goods, and I paid a total of $52.93 for all of these items that I sold. Next up, shipping. Now when I look at my shipping costs, I mentioned this before, but I'm shooting for a net zero, which means I'm not making money on shipping. I'm charging the buyer a flat rate, and I'm factoring in that over the course of all of my sales, some might be a little high, some might be a little low, but I'm going to break even on all of these shipping costs, so I'm netting $0. So when I'm going to take the shipping cost out of these sales, I'm just taking out the amount that I charge the buyer, knowing that it might be a little bit off, it might be a little bit higher, might be a little bit low on these sales, but over the course of time, it should break even to be pretty close to zero profit and zero loss. So the shipping expense that I'm taking out is going to be $56.93. Now eBay fees, which is going to be roughly about 13% of your gross sales, came out to $34.81. So when I take out all my expenses, I go from $267.78 down to $123.11. That is the amount that is now profit from what I made after I paid myself back for the expense of the cost of goods, because that is still money that we are making, but that again balances out because that's money I had before. And net profit, we want to look at money that I didn't have before that I'm adding to my accounts. That's $123.11, which comes out to be a 45% profit margin. Now again, to factor in profit margin, you just take your net sales, divide it by your gross sales. It tells you how much of your gross profit you're getting to keep at the bottom line. Now, while you'd like to have that profit margin be as close to 100% as possible, average is going to be anywhere between 30 and 50% for most retail sales. Okay, so now we're actually going to go on a couple of different thrifting trips. I got 2 trips for you guys, so come along and let's see what I find. What's going on, guys? We are back, and it is twilight here in beautiful Las Vegas. I'm off work just a tiny bit earlier, like 10 minutes earlier than I usually am, so it's almost dark, and by the time I'm out of the store, it will be dark. But we're gonna do some thrifting after work today, and I am back at the Neon Savers, and I'm dubbing it the Neon Savers. And I usually find decent items here, so I'm excited. I'm gonna go in, see what they've restocked for this week. Let's check it out. All right, guys, so most of the stores that I go to, I usually have a pretty set route, and in this Savers, I like to start with the pots and pans. And noticing a little bit of potential with this pan here, I pick it up and check it out. I do throw it in the cart, but later I do put it back just because the sales comps aren't really there on this item. So it's going to go in the cart for now, but after I look it up, it's definitely going to go back on the shelf. And, ooh, I spot it. I spot it right there. We got Revereware on the shelf with the lid, which in this store is definitely not common. So picking that up, I do notice it is $6.99, which is a little bit more than I think this pan should cost or is usually marked at, but it's okay. It definitely goes in the cart, and scanning, and no other pans or pots to find on the shelf. Next up, we're moving over to the electronics, and I'm noticing that these electronic shelves are just kind of your run-of-the-mill electronic shelves. A lot of DVD players, a lot of cords, a lot of speakers, and nothing really of interest. I do spot a projector up here, but it's priced pretty high, and just the effort that it's going to take to even check to see if it's working is going to be a lot, and I just don't want to take the gamble on a $35 item that I can't verify at the moment. Moving over on my way to the shoes, I do check the toy aisle. Usually I'm looking for stuff just for my kids, but I do notice this kind of cool gun that I've never really seen before, and when I touch the button here, I notice that it lights up, and I'll show you guys in a few minutes. It's got sound effects, it recoils, it's got a lot of cool stuff, and it's part of a laser tag set. And when I look over to my left, I notice that there's 4 others. They're all $4 each, and for 16 bucks, I'm going to take a shot on these. I do check them out and look them up, and the sales are varying, but I kind of want to see. Now moving over to the shoes. Not a lot of potential on these shoe aisles. I do spot something here, some potential Jordans, but after close inspection, if you look at these, you'll probably be able to tell with me, these are very much not legitimate shoes. The insides are bad, the soles are bad, the insoles are wrong, the tag is wrong, the paint and everything on the purple and the black is just really, really poor quality. The stitching's really bad. So these are very clearly fake Jordans, and definitely you want to take a spot out because usually Jordans are of a pretty decent quality when you find them. So always take a look and inspect your shoes. So nothing really in the men's shoes section for this Savers, but I do find a little bit of luck in the women's section. I find these pair of Asics here, really nice colorway. I'm not picking up as many women's shoes, but when they have a unique colorway like this, it really makes me stop and check them out. Insoles were good, soles were good. Got to double check the price though, and oh yeah, $5.49. That is a good deal. These are definitely gonna be picked up and take along with me. All right, it is windy now that it is dark, but we got a pretty okay haul, pretty good. Spent about $30, got some decent stuff, got some potential. I'm gonna hit one more store before I get home though, so we're gonna see if I can do better at the next one. I'll see you there. All right, we are at our second stop of the night, which is gonna be a Goodwill, and this Goodwill provides probably one of the most unique thrifting possibility experiences that you can do. Let me turn around and show you. So as you can see, we got this Goodwill right here. So while you're at this Goodwill, to maximize your thrifting experience, why don't you get dinner with it? You got John's Incredible Pizza over here, make it a family affair. But then next to that, maybe that's not a good enough evening. Let's hit the movies. And if the movies aren't good enough, let's go to Sequest, full-on aquarium. That is the thrifting experience you want for yourself. Now let's go in there and see if they got anything good today. Now moving over to this Goodwill, And I stop in the shoe section, just that's how I make my loop through this store. And I do spot a couple Nikes here that look to be okay, but just the price point's a little too high for this type of shoe. And I want to see you guys to see my process of just kind of how I go through and look, looking for shoes that look good, that have good tread, that are good brands that I know, but sometimes you don't find anything. And that's the case with this shoe section here. There's not a lot of potential. Some of the shoes look okay. Great shoes for personal use. A lot of really good shoes, really good tread. But there's just not a lot of meat on the bone for the resale market on the majority of these shoes. Again, good looking shoes here, good looking soles, but the price on these ones was a little too high, and just the brand is not the best for reselling. So they're going to stay on the shelves as well. Moving down, still, I do find these pair of Sauconys, and I do end up putting these back after I look them up. They're decent looking, but just they're really, really plain, just plain black with a little bit of a yellow hit. So while they are really good, and usually the brand will sell pretty decently, these ones would have resold for about $20, and that's just, for me, not enough at a $10 price point for a shoe to have to try to hold on and use in my inventory. So again, these Brooks here had some potential, but the sizing was good, the price was good. The soles, however, were just a little too worn, and they're going to go back on the shelves as well. So like I said, not a lot of potential for these sales and these shoes. And just that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes you don't win on the shoes or wherever you're looking. So I think it's important for everybody to kind of see that not every time you walk down a shoe aisle you pick anything up, or even end up buying anything. Now moving over to electronics, going up and down here, a lot of DVD players, but I do spot the rare combo unit here, Toshiba combo unit. I've mentioned this before, but Las Vegas is a very rare market for these combo units. Rarely ever find them, but this one looks to be in really, really good shape. I do have to test it out. Pricing on it is going to be a little on the higher end, and that's what I always see on these. This one is $17.99, so I'm going to have to pay up for this if I want it, but I think the comps are going to be there. Now I go over here for the plug test, and it turns on. That's the first step, and I usually like to check, make sure that the DVD tray will come out, make sure that there's nothing kind of clearly broken or obstructing the VHS player. I'm dumb and hit the eject button even though it won't work when there's no tape in there, but it looks good and I'm going to pick it up. Now moving on to these plugs over here, I do see that below there is this bin, and in this bin I do find some gold. I find these Sunbeam controllers for either a blanket or a bed, and there is another one over here which is a Serta control, but this one priced a little bit too high, $7 on this. So the sale comps are going to be about $15 to $20, so just a little bit too high for it to be worth my while. So I am going to put it back, but I am excited that I found that Sunbeam controller because I do enjoy selling them. They're very easy to sell, and I'll show you guys a little bit later in the breakdown of those items. And just double checking anything else, nothing else in this bin, so moving on. And then I do spot something that I've never seen before. I take a look and I see that these are Xbox controllers, and let me know in the comments if you guys have ever seen these. These are big button Xbox controllers. The comps aren't very good. They're pricing at $6.99, and that's definitely a little too high for these. All right, so just left that Goodwill. Not a monster haul, but still a couple things. And I'm here at 7 o'clock at night. They're literally locking the doors right now, kicking people out. So I'm still finding items at the end of the day. I probably would have found something if I was going early in the morning, but it's proof you can still do it at the end of the day. So I'll get everything back to the house and we'll recap it all. Talk to you soon. So like I said there, guys, and like you saw, I feel like that Goodwill is in such a cool spot, especially if you want to do, a day trip for yourself, you want to do a family day, even if you want to do like a really cool date night, like that is in such an awesome spot. You have an aquarium, a movie theater, a Goodwill, a incredible pizza, and actually it's all attached to a mall. So even if you want to do more shopping or more browsing around, It's all right there. So I think that's probably one of the cooler thrifting locations you could go to if you wanted to kind of make an event out of it. So now let's just real quick go through those items that I found. Not a huge haul, but still found some good stuff. All right, so starting off, you saw me pick up this Revereware pan. I paid $6.99 for it, which is about $1 or $2 more than I would usually like to, but it did have the lid with it, so that was okay. And I've talked about this before, but I probably won't sell this by itself. I'll put it towards a larger set that I'm looking at building out. And a pot like this will add about $12 to $15 to that total sale when I look in the bigger scheme of things. So, a 10-piece set is gonna, be about a $150 sale. So $6.99 is getting close to where it's barely doubling my money on this item, but even then, in the grander scheme of things, if I need this pan for that set, $6.99 is worth it. Next up, also picked up from that Savers, is this pair of Asics Gel Kayano 18s, and I do really well selling Asics, even though I've said before I'm going to try to stop picking up as many women's shoes just because they don't sell as well for me. But these ones I thought were just a really, really cool, unique colorway, a lot more colorful than some of the other shoes, and I find that those ones do sell the best. $5.49 was what they were asking for these shoes, which I think is a really good deal, and I'll probably get, realistically, maybe $30 for these. Again, women's shoes don't sell as well for me, but I haven't looked up the colorway. I'll put the sold comp up right here, so I might be way off, but I think I'm going to be close to spot on with a $30 sale price on these. All right, so next up, you saw me snag a few of these, and these I got for $3.99 each, and they are going to be a little bit of a gamble. I saw some sold comps, I definitely looked them up, and it was kind of ranging. Some of them had the base, so this is actually a laser tag gun, so I have 4 of them, but I don't have the actual base or any of the instructions or anything like that to actually make it function. So I'm going to be looking for somebody that wants to buy these who potentially already has that or is buying that separately. So again, a little bit of a gamble. I did see some that were being sold as just the guns, and I paid $4 each, so about $16, and I'm hoping that I can get about $40 for the set, so a little bit more than doubling my money on each of these items. I'll probably price it a little bit higher and eventually settle for something around the $40 range, but they are pretty cool. My kids are already wanting to keep them just because they got some crazy sounds there. I don't know what this is going to do to the camera, but you got the laser, the sound effects, everything on there is pretty cool. So hopefully these do sell. They all work. And again, we'll see. It's kind of a gamble on these, but if anything, they're cool toys to have around the house. Next up, I picked up these pair of Sunbeam Controls. Now, I've definitely found a few of these items, and I've sold a couple of the Sunbeams that I picked up already. This is definitely a bolo to keep out for. Again, not a huge money maker, but definitely a great bread and butter item that sells pretty quickly, and they're very easy to take pictures of. You don't really even have to unwrap them. You take a couple pictures, you throw them in a poly mailer, and send it right out, and it's a quick, $20 sale usually. So paid $2.99 for this, and like I said, realistically anywhere between $15 and $20, and that's getting just on the borderline for me of where I want to be with my sales. I'm trying to pick up items that are not going to sell for less than $15, preferably not even less than $20. But something like this, now that I've started selling them, I can't help but pick them up whenever I find them. And last but not least, we have a DVD combo unit here. DVD VHS. You saw me in the store. I definitely like to try to make sure these are plugged in and at least functioning. The DVD case is coming out. Still need to test it to make sure that it hooks up to the TV and works. Paid up for it, $17.99. But this is a Toshiba model, and these are selling for pretty well. I'll put the sold comps up right up here, so I should hopefully triple my money on this purchase. Alrighty guys, and that's going to wrap up my video for today. I posted up on my Instagram. I'm probably going to switch up how I'm doing my videos a little bit. I was trying to pump out a little bit more videos than I realistically should have been taking on, just to make sure I'm balancing my home life and work life and everything. I'm probably gonna go to 1 video a week. I'm still gonna do my Monday night lives, and I'm thinking either a Thursday or Friday release, depending on when I can get the video filmed. Comment below if you think that's good, or if you like the format of this video, a little bit more long form, kind of going through a couple different steps, combining the what solds with the haul video. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you made it this far, if you can, drop a like on the video for me. It would really appreciate it. Also, I'm getting very close to 400 subscribers, so if you're not already subscribed, hit that button. It would mean a lot. All right, so thanks again. I'll see you in the next one.